Hi everyone, this is Jason and welcome back to Crypto Insights Journal. In this episode, I talked to Allie Knox. Allie is a adult entertainment performer as well as a cryptocurrency veteran. We're going to discuss the news that Pornhub has made crypto its default payment method for its premium service. We're also going to talk about how this will affect other members of the industry as well as sex workers who may not be ready for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Learn more about Allie at her official website, allieknox.com, and I'll put her social media in the description below. Thank you. So I guess my first question is, what's your view on this whole thing about, well, for one, MasterCard and Visa said we're cutting off payments to Pornhub altogether. Because I know before they cut off payments to performers. Now they're cutting out to the site in general. So first, let me get your view on that whole situation.
So MasterCard and Visa have been doing things like this for years. They've been doing on different sites that we work on. They put a lot of different like banned words. For example, you can't have vampires. You can't list anything about vampires. You can't list anything about aliens. You can't list anything about blood. There's a bunch of different things that they haven't allowed us to use. They've censored us.
I did not know that.
So that's pretty typical. But to completely take it away and not have any payments is interesting now. And the problem here is, okay, Pornhub runs a free site and they also run a premium site. So on the premium site, when you pay for things, you're paying it through the verified content creators. So the money's going directly to them. Pornhub takes their small cut or whatever, but the performers are making money. So now if you can't take Visa or MasterCard on Pornhub, those performers are not making their money, which is problematic because a lot of people have used it as their main income source, as their content site. So it's really unfortunate that Visa and MasterCard are playing, these kind of legal games to hold Pornhub accountable when, performers for a long time have been saying Pornhub needs to be accountable. They need to be, following the laws. They need to have their paperwork. They need to allow only consensual videos that are verified by creators. Like, there's been a lot of solutions that Pornhub could have made to follow the rules. And now Visa and MasterCard are coming through and saying, listen, we're going to enforce those rules, which is an understandable thing, except that it hurts the content creators because that's where the money was going. So it's incredibly problematic.
So the idea on Visa MasterCard side is we're going to force you to make these changes that we want to see, even though, this isn't really it's almost like they're trying to do like a YouTube situation.
Maybe. So what they're trying to do is they try to happening on your site. So we're going to come through and we're going to pull that type of payment. Well, the problem is in Backpage's a particular example, they were actually helping with a lot of the human trafficking cases. I mean, if you Google a bunch of stuff about Backpage, they did a lot of good things legally. They followed a lot of things legally. But they had a 230 protection, and I can go into 230 if that's a thing. You probably know a lot about this. But now that they're doing this, I don't know. They're kind of playing the judge and jury, and it's problematic because Pornhub should have been following these rules all along, but they weren't. And so Visa and MasterCard have come in and decided that they were going to say, listen, there's too much human trafficking, there's too much revenge porn, there's too much child porn on your site. When in all actuality, if you look at the numbers compared to human trafficking cases that have gone through Zoom or Facebook, that's where the numbers really are. So if these groups are not going to target those types of things, it makes performers feel like we are being targeted. And we just feel like this is another war on porn. And to be quite honest, in my personal opinion, I think that's what it is. I think it's a lot of porn censorship. I think they're trying to take the money away from the pornographers who they've been trying to do for a long time. And if you're going to do these things in the guise of, in the name of human trafficking, the least you could do is actually go to the human trafficking violations and go there, which haven't happened. So that's why we're all very skeptical about what this is really happening.
Right. Well, and then also the fact that this isn't the first time that Visa, MasterCard have done this towards the adult industry. mean, it's
Well, they tried this with Backpage. If you go back and you look at Backpage was able to skirt MasterCard. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 years ago. They were able to skirt MasterCard doing this because of the 230 protections.
mm,
So MasterCard was they went round and round legally for years, and Backpage ended up winning, and MasterCard wasn't able to pull from them at the time.
right.
So this has happened, and that's kind of how adult industry things happen. Is small things happen and they kind of build, and that's why we're all so skeptical and quite frankly bitching about this, is because we see what's really happening. We know this is where this is going.
Right. Well, and you bring up 230, which is actually a good point because we have a lot of chatter about getting rid of 230 because people want to go after Facebook and Twitter. But 230 actually protects a lot of other sites that we don't even think about, including Backpage and Pornhub, for example, from just being sued out of existence.
Exactly what's going to happen if we remove 230 protections is people are going to be sued out of existence, and it's going to hurt the mom and pop and all of us pornographers that are working legally, mind the way, legally at our homes, trying to produce content, and we're going to be the ones who suffer.
Right. Well, let me ask you about Pornhub enabling crypto for the premium site, because Pornhub had already enabled crypto as a payment, but now they're just saying we're just going to do crypto from now on. So how do you feel about that as a performer? Are you do you know of other performers that are prepared to accept Bitcoin, for example?
I personally am, because in 2014 my PayPal got shut down, and then that just kind of started the ripple effect of all my other cash apps, or payment apps rather. So I turned to crypto. So I've been there since 2014. And then I worked for a crypto company for a few years. And so I'm really pretty embedded in crypto. But I can tell you, working and being in sex work and crypto space, there's not a lot of us. I mean, that's why you talk to the same people over and over, because there's just not a lot of us. And it's for a few reasons. One of them, crypto is honestly just kind of hard for people that don't get it. For older men that have been buying, clips on clip sites forever, people that have been buying tokens on cam sites, like, the concept is they understand the concept, but actually going through the process of making a wallet, learning seed phrases, learning how to move it from their bank account, buying crypto, sending crypto, all the fees, how to check things are confirmed. Like, it's a whole different process for a bunch of people that have never done this before.
Right.
I mean, and not to mention the fact that when you get into like crypto Twitter, it's a pretty aggressive space. I'll just say aggressive space. So it's hard for newcomers to come in and think, this is and it's even worse because sex work communities, people that follow us, our fans, our subs, are the people that are very dedicated and devoted to us. They are very welcoming and loving, and they're particularly in these kink spaces. They're very open. So when they go to crypto Twitter, and they're met with a lot of resistance and fighting and just a bunch of bullshit, it's a real turnoff.
Right. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think what the crypto community needs to do is a few things. I think they need to band together and make some things really easy, be it through some guides, some education, even through just really easy to use apps. And I think also, if they're more friendly and they're more engaging, and they start to accept people that are outside the crypto community into the crypto community much more easily, I think it's going to completely change things.
Right. Agree, definitely. Well, and I guess it goes to my main question is about adoption, because now that crypto is front and center on the Pornhub website, do you think that's going to bring more people into the crypto space? Because for one, they'll be curious about what is this thing, right?
Potentially. I know, like, for me, I have one of my long-term payers. He recently went and bought crypto because he was interested in the privacy aspect. So he went through the whole thing. He did it himself. He listened to some guides and stuff like that. He didn't come to me for help. He just figured it out. And when he came there, he was like, I don't really necessarily know what I did, but I did it. Here's some crypto. I just wanted to show you how it was done. And it was really interesting for him because he was more concerned about the privacy aspect. Which a lot of porn consumers are.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm sitting in a closet while we're talking, because I'm trying to explain to my girlfriend, why are you writing about Pornhub?
Yeah. So, that's an interesting port, because I think maybe that's what we need also, particularly in a sex work world, but maybe in a crypto world, is just people more freely talking about their consumption of porn or their interaction with sex workers. I mean, we've always been crazy stigmatized and everything like that, but that's what we really need is we need just regular people that are fighting for us and having this conversation. And I think this MasterCard and Visa thing, for me personally, it's been really interesting because I had a tweet go kind of semi-viral. And when I went to go look at the analytics of it, I had one person out of when I checked it, over 300,000 impressions. One person had just hate tweeted me. One person out of over 300,000. And the people that retweeted it weren't necessarily sex workers or people in sex work. They were just regular people that were concerned about technology or privacy, or they saw where this was going. And it's really interesting to me that people are kind of coming out of the woodwork and standing behind us. And I really hope that this is a shift.
Well, and I have to be fair because, my girlfriend is actually way more forward thinking than a lot of people want to give their significant others credit for. And she actually came up with a great title for this, is MasterCard is cock blocking. And I was like, oh, thank you.
Yeah. And it's those things, it's those little tiny things of you just having a conversation with your girlfriend about an article that you're writing about someone that you talk to. Those kinds of things, they humanize us. Right. They give us a platform. Oh my God, thank you for giving us platforms. And these are the steps that it's going to take.
Yeah. And you know what? I think we need to do away with the stigma of, especially now, people need to make money.
Yeah.
And we got to stop demonizing people, because around where I live, there's a food line every Sunday that stretches almost a mile. And it's like, in a time like this, we don't get to criticize.
Absolutely, especially because the work that we're doing, I know I'll speak for myself personally, everything is legal. Everything is above board. All of the money that I'm taking in from my different apps, everything goes to the IRS. Like, there's nothing that I'm doing that's against anything except quote unquote morality of some folks. Right. And it's just really unfortunate because I shouldn't be discriminated against just because some people don't like what I'm doing.
Correct. Exactly. And we get Puritan really quick.
And for sure. And it's unfortunate because, sex workers are notoriously like people that are marginalized and oppressed in other areas. And it's, some of us sex workers, this is what we have to do. We've been scarlet lettered. This is what we're going to do forever and ever. So if you're going to take away the ways for us to make money like that, it just doesn't even really make sense. Is that what the end game is we're just thrown out onto the street with no skills and no, we can't enter another labor force? Like, how does that even?
Well, and I'm glad you brought up the whole scarlet letter part, because they'll do that, but then go to the website when they get home.
That's for sure. That's for sure. My second top payer now. And we have conversations about how I take his money and how I can't stand the person that he is and that he's voted for and all the things that he's done forever. And it's this shame that he feels. And now he gives me money and, it's all this thing. But it's just crazy that, it's all these people that were against me, but you go home and you do all these things. You enjoy me at night when people don't know. And it's crazy.
Well, but society has had those double standards for years. I mean,
for sure.
You think you have people who are right-wing racists, but have a black mistress.
Yep.
Like, well, you don't.
Excellent example.
You don't hate us that much.
Yep. Yeah. Excellent example. Nice. And I appreciate you giving us a platform. That's all we ever ask. So it's very nice.
Well, I even try to bring crypto to I'm heavy in the occult Twitter.
Yeah.
So I actually talk Bitcoin to them too, because they are in basically the same situation. Yeah. Because good luck getting a Wiccan bank charter.
Nice. See, like weed, marijuana shops and stuff. They have the same issues as us, and so it's always us quote unquote degenerates like trying to band together to share resources. So
no, I'm definitely team degenerate. You can. All right, thank you, Allie. I really appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.